Hey everyone, welcome back to another podcast, episode 3. Today, we are embracing solitude. Today's going to be a great day. I can already feel it. Why? Just because it is. Today's going to be a great day. I'm able to walk, I'm able to breathe, I'm able to see, I'm able to hear, I'm able to smell. I'm able to do all these things, and just waking up this morning, I was filled with gratitude because not everybody gets to wake up. But today, I woke up. And if you're listening to this, you woke up this morning too. Today's going to be a great day. Welcome back to another podcast. This is the TIMO podcast. I'm Tim Bialik, and this podcast is all about developing athletes on and off the field. At TIMO Athletics Group, we want to help you improve on the field, whether that's technically, athletically, or off the field, whether that's helping you build a stronger mindset, helping you develop your confidence, and overall navigate the mental side of sports. In the last episode, we talked about confidence and how confidence is super important in your game, but it's preparation that fuels it. You can't rely on confidence as just some natural thing that you were born with. No. Preparation fuels your confidence. But today, I want to take a step back and talk about something I think is just as important as confidence, and that's learning to be comfortable with yourself, even during times of isolation. You know, every athlete experiences moments of isolations. Every athlete experiences moments of solitude. Whether that's training alone, you're doing your self-training on your own, passes against the wall, watching film. Maybe it's, rehabbing an injury, whether that's a short-term injury or a long-term injury. Or maybe it's just feeling like, nobody understands the situation that you're going through. I don't know what that may be, but you just feel that, maybe I'm in this alone and no one can understand this. But here's the thing. You are not alone. The greatest athletes in the world go through this similar moment, this similar feeling that you're going through, and that feeling of isolation. But the greatest athletes don't run from solitude. They actually embrace it. So I want to break this down. Why learning to be comfortable with your own self is actually a game changer. I didn't know about this when I was going through my injuries. I was so afraid of solitude. I was so afraid of being alone. But, over time, I changed my mindset and I tried to embrace it rather than run away from it. I want to break down why learning to be comfortable with your own self is actually a game changer, how isolation can actually be an advantage, how you can start leaning into these moments rather than fearing away from them. The topic of, the fear of being alone, us athletes, we're so used to being around, teammates, goofy teammates, so funny teammates, our coaches, fans. We're so used to being around, all these people. We thrive in this environment. But when we're alone, whether that's, like I mentioned, in training, maybe, during recovery, during rehab, or maybe it's just reflecting, things can feel different. In these moments, it's so easy to distract ourselves with music, with other people, with our friends. Right now in today's age, social media is the easiest distraction from all our problems. But I asked this question. When was the last time you actually sat alone with your own thoughts? When was the last time you truly listened to your inner mind? Yeah. It's probably been a while. Maybe for few it's not, but when was the last time you really sat alone or did something alone in quiet. This can be uncomfortable, these moments. Why? Because when you're alone, you're forced to face your own thoughts, your own doubts. And the best part, you're forced to face your own insecurities. It is you alone. It is you with yourself. It is you against you. But instead of avoiding that, we need to learn how to understand it, how to process it, how to use it to grow. It is crucial because these moments are, in my opinion, inevitable. You're never going to go throughout life, or you're never going to have an athletic career, whether it's right now or sometime in the future, where you're never going to be alone. There's always going to be times of isolation. There's always going to be you're going to find a moment of solitude. It's unavoidable. They will happen in your life many times, I guarantee it. And I want to share a little personal story about, some of the moments of isolations, the moments of solitude that I've been in. And I mentioned in previous podcast, before, it was 2019, and it was literally 7 months before I started college soccer. And, it was, I received the news that, I had that's what I felt in the time. I felt a little knock in my hip, a little bit of sharp pain. So I was a little bit concerned, but not too. I tried to, pretend like I wasn't feeling it, the whole thing of, being an athlete, you want to deny, and just play through the pain. But this got so significant that I was like, you know what, I need to go get this checked out. Well, long story short, this was when I found out I needed to get my first hip surgery. It was tough. It was really tough. Someone that's been playing soccer every single day for the past, 15 years, to hear that I needed to get surgery and, be away from the game for 5 months, that was tough. And especially knowing the fact that it was, or looking into it, I would become fully recovered just 2 months before my freshman year of college with the Wisconsin Badgers. So it was a very tough news to receive. Something that, I didn't want to hear, but that was the first moment I really felt isolation and felt alone because, I wasn't practicing with my teammates. I was doing rehab on my own and kind of just sitting off to the sidelines. It was tough. And, I didn't expect it because, there were so many unknowns. That was tough. It was, being on the sidelines, it was frustrating. I felt so disconnected. I felt like I was missing out. Unfortunately, this happened, like I said, before entering college. I entered college a month into preseason, or a month into the season, tore my right hip, labrum in my right hip, had to get a second hip surgery, recovered from that again, and then a couple months later, started to feel pain again in my left, I had to get surgery again. So all in all, I had 3 hip surgeries before the age of 21, and I was out from the game for a very, very long time. During the most fun times of my life in college, I was away from the game. The reason why I went to college and pursued soccer is to play and to be with the team and to practice and to play and to win games. And blink of an eye, it all just went away for a very prolonged time. It was tough. But I was determined. And, I learned a lot from it. And, it's what I've learned from that experience is there's so much that I can't explain everything in just this one episode. I'll definitely, explain this more in other episodes. But, looking back, this time away from soccer, it was a time for me to grow. I look back on it, and a lot of some athletes may hated it or thought that it was a very bad moment of their life. But you know what? That was me in the beginning, but kind of reflecting on it right now, I feel as if, I'm grateful for it. I'd say that. I'm very grateful that I went through that injury process because I felt like I grew more as a person and I became more wise in the process. Like I said, it forced me to grow. During this time, I had to define my identity outside of just being an athlete, which that was super hard because I've been playing soccer every single day for my whole life. My identity was soccer. And, that's good, but at the same time, it's not. You kind of lose yourself. So during this time, I felt like I lost I realized that I didn't have an identity outside of soccer. I couldn't think of any hobbies, anything besides soccer. So I really was forced during this time to self-reflect, and being alone, yes, while I had to face my own thoughts, doubts, and insecurities, that time allowed me to grow. So I had a lot of time to reflect on my thoughts. I had a lot of time to reflect on my goals, etc. I learned more about myself during that time than I ever have, which is crazy to say now that I'm, sitting here speaking on this podcast about it. It's crazy how much I've learned during this extended period of solitude. Instead of feeling sorry for myself every single day, can't play this, can't play that, not with my team. No. That was me in the beginning, but I slowly realized that you can't feel sorry for yourself. I started to use this concept called solitude as a tool, to focus more on my mental game and to visualize my return and to become more self-aware of my own self. And when I finally got back to the field, I was mentally stronger than ever. It's quite funny because reflecting back on before my injury, I was so mentally weak. When I would get frustrated, oh my gosh, I would be kicking goalposts. I'd be kicking garbage cans. I'd be screaming. I was so mentally young. That's why when I reflect on this right now, I can definitely say that this period of time was such a growth era for me that I'm so grateful for it. As much as I struggled during this moment, being away from the game, and I wasn't the same me when I came back, just because injury kind of takes away some of your abilities, but I grew so much mentally. I remember one of my teammates saying to me in my senior year, he was just like, Tim, like, remember when we were freshman year, when you would get frustrated, you would, kick this, and, yell out of frustration, and it's just a bad look. And now whenever you get frustrated, you're more mature. I know how to control my thoughts. I know how to control my awareness. It's, this time definitely made me mentally stronger. And ultimately that was because I used this concept called solitude as a tool. I went heads on, and I went to it. I embraced solitude. I embraced the isolation, being by myself, and I reflected so much about who I was and my abilities. That's that mental shift. Most people think isolation is a bad thing. But, what if I told you it's actually one of the most powerful tools you can have as an athlete? Why do I say that? Here, I'll tell you why. Isolation creates clarity. When you remove those distractions that's going on in your mind, you can actually think. You can process your emotions. You can set goals. You can get real with yourself. This is a big one. You can get real with yourself. The second point is greatness is built in solitude. I say greatness is built in solitude. The best athletes don't rely on team training all the time. Yes, soccer is a team sport. Basketball is a team sport. But the best athletes, I'm telling you, they don't rely on team training. They put in extra hours every single day, whether it's late night in the gym sessions, whether it's extra film study or their mental training. They are putting extra sessions, extra hours every single day. Kobe did it. You guys, Kobe Bryant, before every practice, he would still be practicing layups. He would still be practicing free throws. Some may think these things are the easiest things you can train. And the best basketball player in the world was still training these fundamentals. These are what the best athletes are doing. And the third is that, solitude forces self-reflection. Like I mentioned this earlier. You can't grow if you never take the time to understand yourself. You have to self-reflect. What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? What is holding you back in this moment of time? Think about it. Please think about it. What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? What is holding you back right now? I'm telling you, self-reflection and isolating yourself and visualizing and using imagery, meditation gives you the space to answer these questions. These are very important questions that you need to sit down with yourself, with your thoughts, and ask yourself in brutal honesty. You have to get real with yourself, guys. You're living in your dream. You're dreaming the moment that you're in right now. And I don't know what moment you're in right now, but I guarantee you were praying for this moment 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 1 year ago, 5 years ago, you name it. You were praying and you wanted to be in the situation that you're in right now. Wake up. You're living in it. Wake up. Get real with yourself. You guys, this is why, like I mentioned, Kobe Bryant woke up at 4 a.m. to train alone. He wasn't afraid of being by himself. He thrived in this environment. He thrived in solitude. That's why he was the greatest. All right, so how can you right now start embracing solitude instead of avoiding it? And I want you to take a couple practical steps. The first step is set some time to be alone. This could be 10 to 15 minutes a day, 5 minutes a day. Set some time to be alone. It could be in your room, in your bed, when you're about to go to bed. Find that time without distractions. No phone, no music, just you and your thoughts. So yeah, schedule that time to be alone. You can also do this through journaling. Write down how you're feeling. What are you struggling with? What are you proud of? This helps you process and understand yourself better. You can also do this through, you could do this through solo training sessions. Go out and train alone. You don't have to always be in a team environment. This is not just for your physical development, but this is for mental growth. Pay attention to how you feel when no one's watching. Yeah, train alone. Train alone. Just recently I ran a marathon, no headphones, just me and myself. I was by myself in this marathon. I traveled out to Phoenix, Arizona, ran the Mesa Marathon 2025, first ever marathon. Ran it without any headphones. And I trained for 10 weeks before it without all my runs, no headphones. This was a statement to myself that I wanted to accomplish, to get comfortable with my own thought, to get comfortable with my inner self, to put me through those experiences in that mental pain, to improve and build up my mental strength, to train alone when no one's watching. This is the greatest experience of my life up to this date, was training for this marathon and putting myself through very tough conditions, running in 9-degree Fahrenheit weather, even colder, after work. It's truly magnificent because when I got on race day, I performed the best my PR, performed my personal best. As a first-time marathon, I ran 26.2 miles in 3 hours and 6 minutes. Crazy. That's the power of training alone. Can you do it when no one's watching? That's the question I'm asking you right now. Do you have the mental maturity to train by yourself at your hardest level when no one's watching? I put that test to you. And the last one is meditation and visualization. These are key mental strength exercises that you can do when you're self-reflecting. Close your eyes and reflect. Picture yourself succeeding. Picture yourself succeeding in any moment, whether that's on the field, whether that's off the field, you name it. Picture yourself succeeding. The more you sit in silence and visualize these scenarios, the stronger your mental game becomes. You guys, enjoy your own company. That's the best advice I can give you on this podcast, on this episode right now. Enjoy your own company. Enjoy being with yourself. Instead of fearing isolation, start embracing it. Use that time to grow, to reflect, and to level up your mindset. Think about Michael Phelps. Michael Phelps spent hours and hours in the pool, training in silence, no distractions. Think about Serena Williams. She talks about how much time she spends alone practicing her mental game. Guys, these are the best athletes in the world. They're the best in their craft. They did these strategies. They did these exercises. These athletes understand something that most don't. The ability to sit with your own self, to train alone, to reflect alone, and to be completely at peace in your own mind. That's what separates the good from the great. That's what separates the good from the great. So here's my challenge for you. Like I mentioned, spend 5, 10, 15 minutes today alone without distractions. Reflect on one area of your life or in your sport that needs improvement. And after you figure that out, write it down. And then start building a habit of embracing solitude instead of avoiding it. All right, everyone. That's it for today's episode. If this resonated with you, please subscribe to the podcast so that you don't miss out on future episodes. If you want to take your physical and mental game even further, check out our website, TIMOathleticsgroup.com. You can also check out our Instagram page at TIMO Athletics Group. TIMO Athletics Group, we're here to help you develop your game on and off the field. We have services for on-field development, whether that's just one-on-one training sessions, our in-person training program, or we help you off the field through also our in-person training program, which is a blend of on-the-field training sessions and online mentorship. And then we also have another third service, and that is our online mentorship program if you're not in the local area. And the last service that we do have a college recruiting mentorship program where me, Coach Tim, I help you learn the college recruiting process and gain exposure and increase your likelihood of exposure to college coaches throughout the college recruiting process. I want to make your dream come true of playing at the college level just as I did. And in this program, I give you the tips and tricks of how I received Division I, Division II offers to play college soccer, receive scholarships, and what I did to expose myself to the best of my abilities, to network, to increase my chances of college coaches noticing me on the field. So like I said, if this resonated with you, check out our website, timoathleticsgroup.com, or follow us on our Instagram at timoathleticsgroup. Thanks so much for tuning in, and remember, your greatest growth happens when no one is watching. See you next time.